it's like that. There are forces in society that don't want to see people living a more simple and natural life because that would cause economic activity to go down, the GNP to go down, less tax money, less profit for corporations. It's just something that would be a nightmare scenario for the powers that are now in charge of the whole worldwide system that's dominant today. But there are people in various parts of the world, individually and collectively, who are trying to go in another direction towards a more simple and natural life. Yes, we have material needs, but they're looking for the ways to satisfy them in the most natural, simple, and efficient way possible. They're looking to change the social and political and financial structures in such a way as to emphasize not competition and conflict, but cooperation and understanding we're all part of one spiritual family. We're all related as beings of pure consciousness. So there are groups and individuals who are trying to move things in that direction. And
Here's two of them
I'm,
right here.
yeah. So I don't consider myself to be alone in this. I consider myself to be part of a whole group of people in different parts of the world who may be directly communicating with each other, but or may not be. But we're kind of moving in parallel directions, and that's quite hopeful.
Yeah, when I read your books, the thing that really came out clear was it's written from an academic point of view, but with a lot of heart and soul. But and this interview has really helped me, by the way, because I could not figure out a little compartment to put you in. You're like in a league all of your own. You're not this or that, and you're not even a fence sitter. You're something else, and it takes a special kind of opening up to really understand that. And now just talking with you right now is helping me to do that quite a bit.
Well, Rahasya, the reason I am like that is because I concluded that we're in a time and place in the world's history that comes up just every few hundred years where there's a real chance to change things. I think we're in the process of renegotiating our whole concept of who we are, what our place in the universe is, what our goals as a human society really should be. And I think there's a lot of different parties to that negotiation. The academics and scholars are part of it. The grassroots movements for social change are part of it. Spiritual groups who are concentrating on genuine spirituality are part of it. There are people who are looking for simple alternatives, rural communities and things of that sort. There are scientists who are looking for more simple and natural technologies. There's a lot of different groups that are trying to proceed along this path. And I found I don't want to limit myself to just communicating with one group. For example, I could just strictly deal with academics and scientists, but I don't feel like doing that. I feel like I should also communicate with the spiritualists and the people who are engaging in simple living and high thinking. And so I try to stay in touch and communicate with all groups of people. I deliberately don't want to be pigeonholed, you could say, either in my own mind or let somebody else pigeonhole me in
Well,
that way.
you've done that quite successfully.
Well, as I said, I don't consider myself alone in this. I think there are lots of other people who are trying to do the same thing, who understand that if there is going to be change, it's not going to come from just one group of people or one individual. It's got to be a more cross-cultural or interconnected sort of thing.
Well, there's different ways to look at that mountain. You know, there's different ways to look at that mountain, and this is a particularly fascinating way for me to look at it. So I would like, before we close, I'd like to get your thoughts on 2012. Do you have any thoughts about that? What this means?
Well, I do, and it's in connection with, you know, my study of the Vedic cosmology, which involves a cyclical concept of time. When people talk about 2012, usually they're talking about the Mayan calendar from Central America, which involves a cyclical concept of time. And according to many researchers, one of the cycles of time is coming to an end at the end of 2012. And there are different theories about what that means. Some say there may be some huge catastrophe. Others say it may be a time of enlightenment. Others say it may be both happening. Now, in terms of my commitments to the Vedic cosmology with its cycles of yugas and manvantara periods and kalpas, I see that according to the way I look at things, we're in a cycle now called the Kali Yuga, which is, according to the Puranas, the historical writings of ancient India, a time of increasing social and environmental disturbance. But it's not going to be the end of the world. It's not going to be some world-ending catastrophe, but there could be some further environmental and social disturbances, as we see, you know, happening in the world today with increasing frequency. But according to my understanding of the Vedic time cycles, it's not going to be a world-ending catastrophe. There will be such a catastrophe at some point, but it's not anytime soon. It's, according to the Vedic calendar, it's millions and millions of years away from anything of that nature. So I think it's also a possible time for enlightenment. So we'll just have to see, you know, what happens. Actually, later this year in December, you know, I've been invited to be a speaker on a cruise, a December 2012 cruise that's going down to Central America to some of the Mayan sites in December 2012. So if anybody wants to participate in that, they could look at my website, mcremo.com, and learn the details about that.
All right, Michael. Well, that sounds like a pretty good place to end it.
Well, it's been really great, Rahasya, being with you and everyone else who's part of this YouTube channel. Great to have had the chance to speak with you.